The glory of these 40 days we celebrate with songs of praise for Christ, by whom all things were made, himself has fasted and has prayed.
Hi there, welcome. That was the first verse of a really beautiful Lent hymn called The Glory of These 40 Days. And if you've joined us for these hymn videos before, welcome back. We're thrilled to have you here. I'm going to warn you, we've kind of changed the format a little bit in this video. So there are a couple reasons for that. I'll give a little maybe apology that's not so much of an apology by way of explanation, which is that so far we've been doing just a total call and response. We sing the phrase, you repeat, and getting to know each individual voice part that way. There's a lot of value in that. It can train our ears really well. But I've been growing in my desire to come up with a more effective way to help people to gain real, true literacy skills. If you followed our channel carefully, you might know that we've been doing a whole lot of solfa lessons. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you're about to hear a bunch of gibberish in our video. So I would encourage you to maybe go check out the solfa playlist, which I'll link to in the description. But what we're going to do differently here is we're not going to do any call and response at all. Instead, we're simply going to sing each vocal part, not on the text of the hymn, but to learn it in solfa. So if you're not comfortable with solfa at all, that's okay. You can listen and try to follow. In fact, you could just ignore our gibberish syllables and sing the text right over top and get to know the melody. We are singing the melody as written. But I would just encourage you that even if this feels really overwhelming, first of all, like I said, it's a great opportunity to work your way through those solfa teaching videos. And the reason that we're doing this is because you can learn in call and response individual hymns, but there's really there's an end to the effectiveness of that at some point. We're not going to make 700 hymn teaching videos, but if you learn how to have true literacy, to be able to read what's on the page, to hear it, to sing it skillfully, more or less, you have access to the entire inheritance that we have of hymnody for centuries, and it's a real gift. So it's a little bit harder. The other videos were a bit of a triage. They were kind of like, in the absence of literacy, here's a way to sing hymns in 4 parts. And now we're going to pivot, and instead we're going to really encourage you to develop real literacy. We'll be releasing these about once per month, so it's an opportunity to spend a lot of time on these hymns and really work on them. Even if you've never sung solfa, I truly believe that in 2 or 3 months you could be doing this with a pretty fair degree of skill and fluency, especially if you follow along with the solfa teaching videos as well. So we'll start right at the top, and since I've been talking for so long, I'm going to review our pitch here. Now I will just kind of, as we go, since we're getting into this, I will walk us through a little bit of how we'd get started here. You can read, if you know, that we have a key signature of 1 sharp, which means do is G. This particular hymn is in a minor key, which means la is our tonic, and that first note is la. So we're starting on the soprano part, the one on top of the top staff, with la. So we'll sing through that together, and we'll be signing as well. So here we go.
La ti do ti la si, la ti do ti la, do re mi, do re mi fa sol fa mi, re do mi do re do ti la si la.
Okay, now it may be that you sung along with us perfectly, in which case, congratulations. It may be that that made no sense at all to you. If you are somewhat fluent with solfa syllables and signs, but weren't able to do that in real time, one thing you could do is obviously repeat that part of the video a number of times. But you could also sort of transcribe on your score, which the link to that particular PDF is also in the description. Transcribe what syllables we sang and work your way through it, write them in. There's no shame in doing that. Okay, now we're just going to work our way down. So the next part down is the alto part. That starts on a B, which in the key of E minor would be mi. So we're going to start on mi. Ready? Mi, la, sol, fa, mi, si, la, si, mi, la, sol, la, ti, do, mi, la, do, ti, la, si, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, so, ti, la, si, la, fa, mi. All right, keep moving. We're just going right down to the tenor part. That one starts on do. So this one has a couple of 16th notes in there, so just be careful. We'll go maybe a little bit slower on this part. It's probably the trickiest of the four. So starting on do, here we go. Do, re, do, re, mi, fa, ti, mi, do, mi, re, so, la, re, mi, fa, ti, do, re, so, fa, re, mi, re, do, ti, do, re, do. All right, yeah, that's a bit of a tricky one. And by the way, I'm sure if you watched carefully all the way through this and didn't try singing, which I don't recommend, you'd notice probably some of us, myself included, probably myself especially, screwing up the hand signs. So just use them and don't be afraid of making mistakes. Okay, now we're all the way at the bottom here on the bass part, which starts on la, just like the soprano did. So we'll try this one as well. Here we go. La, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, re, mi, la, ti, so, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, la, re, do, ti, do, so, do, si, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, re, mi, la. All right, so that's all the individual vocal parts. Work on yours as many times as needed, or work on yours against each of the other individual parts. So for example, if you're an alto, go back to the soprano part, sing the alto on top of the soprano, and then tenor, and then bass. And we're gonna kind of simulate that a little bit. We're gonna continue to sing on sol fa syllables for one more little brief section here. And we're just gonna do two parts at a time. So we're gonna start with both the soprano part and the alto part. So you could pick either of those that's more comfortable for you. Benj, who's singing tenor here, which is the higher of the two men's parts, is going to double Ellie on soprano, and I, who am singing bass, will be doubling Georgia's alto part. So possibly if you're a lower voice as a man, maybe you sing alto. And we'll just sing those two parts, still singing sol fa syllables and still signing. So right from the beginning, sopranos on la, altos on mi. Here we go. Mi, la, sol, fa, mi, si, la, si, mi, la, sol, la, ti, do, mi, la, do, ti, la, si, la, fa, ti, do, re, do, ti, do, right? And now we're going to do the same thing on the two men's parts. So tenors sing tenor, basses sing bass. If you're a soprano, possibly sing along with the tenor part, altos with bass. Or alternatively, if you don't want to do that at all, you could even, honestly, if you're here just trying to learn the melody and for some miraculous reason have not skipped and jumped to another video, you could just sing right over top of this, and that will help to develop your ear to be able to both hear and independently sing your own part while not getting pulled or distracted by the other parts, but also to kind of appreciate the richness of the voice leading here, which I should have mentioned at the beginning is harmonized by none other than J.S. Bach, possibly the greatest harmonizer of four-part hymns in history. So men are starting on, or tenors, excuse me, are starting on do, and basses are starting on la. So Georgia will be with me, Ellie with Benj. And here we go.
La, re, mi, re, do, ti, re, do, ti, la, fa, ti, mi, do, la, re, so, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, la, re, so, fa, mi, fa, re, mi, si, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, re, mi, do, re, do.
All right, and if you're with us still, congratulations, you've done some good work. Now we get to do the fun part, which is simply to sing the hymn. So we'll be singing it in four parts. If you haven't gathered yet, Ellie on the right of your screen is singing the soprano part, Georgia on alto, Benj is singing tenor, I'm singing bass. And if you can or would like to try, I would encourage you to maybe continue to sign your parts as we go. So be signing individually while singing the text. It does involve a little bit of looking back and forth. My personal method is usually quick read the line of text all at once and then focus more on the notes. Some people do the opposite. So whatever you're comfortable with, and that's totally non-mandatory. So we'll just go through all 5 verses. There is a little amen at the end, which if you'd like to sing with us, we'll sing. And there's our la. So from the bottom we have bass. Bass in that octave.
Do,
Mi, la.
So here we go. Ready?
the glory of these 40 days we celebrate with songs of praise for Christ, by whom all things were made, himself has fasted and has prayed. Alone and fasting Moses saw the loving God who gave the law, and to Elijah fasting came the steeds and chariots of flame. So Daniel trained his mystic sight, delivered from the lion's might, and John the bridegroom's friend became the adored, from age to age, the only Lord.
Ready? Here's Amen.
Amen.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for bearing with us, and hope you had some fun and found that helpful. We'd love feedback if you have any on how we could do this more effectively. I'm pretty resolved on kind of just trying to continue with this model, but we'd love to hear what worked well, what could maybe be pivoted and done a different way. So thanks for singing with us, and I hope you'll join us again next time.